and he raised his finger. When thou shalt be before the radiance sweet of her whose beauteous eyes all things behold, from her thou'lt know the journey of thy life. Unto the left hand then he turned his feet. We left the wall and went towards the middle, along a path that strikes into a valley, which even up there unpleasant made its stench. End of Section 2 of the Inferno, Cantos 6 through 10. Recorded by Annie Coleman in St. Louis, Missouri on October 1st, 2006.
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, visit LibriVox.org. The Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri, translated by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Canto 11 through Canto 15. Inferno, Canto 11. Upon the margin of a lofty bank, which great rocks broken in a circle meet, we came upon a still moor. And there, by reason of the horrible excess of stench, the deep abyss grows out, we threw ourselves aside behind the cover of a great tomb, whereupon I saw a writing, which said, Pope Anastasius, I hold, whom out of the right way Photinus drew. Slow it behoveth our descent to be, so that the sense be first a little used to the sad blast, and then we shall not heed it. The master thus. And unto him I said, Some compensation find, that the time pass not idle. And he, Thou seest, I think of that. My son, upon the inside of these rocks, began he then to say, are 3 small circles, from grade to grade, like those which thou art leaving. They are all full of spirits malefic, but that hereafter sight alone suffice thee. Hear how and wherefore they are in restraint. Of every malice that wins hate in heaven, injury is the end, and all such end either by force, fraud, afflicteth us. But because fraud is meant to rise more, it displeases God, and so stand blows fraudulent, and greater sales. All the first circle fire, insensible towards enemies against 3 persons, and 3 rounds is divided into God and themselves who are made. I say, on them and all their things. Herein reason God. A death by violence, painful wounds, are to our neighbor, and in his substance, is left whence house black. He who smites unjustly, fraudulent, first round, preventeth all covenants. A man may lay violent hands upon himself, and therefore in the second round, perforce, without avail, can forever avoid tribes, games, and dissipates his property, and weepeth there, where he should jocund be. Violence can be done the deity, in heart denying and blaspheming him, and by disdaining nature and her bounty. And for this reason doth the smallest round seal with its signet Sodom and Cahors, and who, disdaining God, speaks from the heart. Fraud, wherewithal is every conscience stung, a man may practice upon him who trusts, and him who doth no confidence in person. This latter mode, it would appear, dissevers only the bond of love which nature makes. Wherefore, within the second circle nestle hypocrisy, flattery, and who deals in magic, falsification, theft and simony, panders and beraters, and the like filth. By the other mode, forgotten is that love which nature makes, and what is after added, from which there is a special faith engendered. Hence, in the smallest circle, where the point is of the universe, upon which dice is seated, whoever betrays forever is consumed. And I, my master, clear enough proceeds thy reasoning, and full well distinguishes this cavern and the people who possess it. But tell me, those within the fat lagoon, whom the wind drives, and whom the rain doth beat, and who encounter such bitter tongues, wherefore are they inside of the Red City not punished, if God has given them in his wrath? And if he has not, wherefore in such fashion? And unto me he said, Why wanders so thine intellect from that which it is wont? Forsooth, thy mind, where is it elsewhere looking? Hast thou no recollection of those words with which thine ethics thoroughly discusses the dispositions through that heaven abides not, incontinence and malice and insane bestiality, and how incontinence less God offended and less blame tracks. If thou recallest of this conclusion well, and to thy mind recallest who they are that up outside are undergoing penance, clearly wilt thou perceive why from these things they separate, and why less wroth justice divine doth smite them with its hammer. O sun that healest all this perdition, dost contempt so resolvest that doubting losest no less than there, where thou sayest that is in goodness divine, by disengaged philosopher, to him who thinks noteth not only one place alone, which manner nature takes her course, by and if thy physics carefully after not shall not find so that your arguments from these thou bringest thy herself and claim her power scale elsewhere but follow painful for quivering eyes flat weighing coldly cards far beyond the place where to descend the bank we came was alpine, and from what was there, moreover, of such a kind that every eye would shun it, such as that ruin is which in the flank smote on the side of Trent the Adige, either by earthquake or by failing stay. For from the mountain's top, from which it moved, unto the plain, the cliff is shattered so, some path 'twould give to him who was above. Even such was the descent of that ravine, and on the border of the broken chasm the infamy of Crete was stretched along, who was conceived in the fictitious house, and he was beheld with himself, even his own shouted, Peradventure thou think'st that here may be the Duke of Athens, or rolled above, brought death beneath, hit me well. This one cometh not, but he comes old, punishment. As is that bull breaks loose the moment he has consumed one. Cannot walk, staggers. The Minotaur held like the light. And he, very cried, run to the passage while he wrought. Well, that should thus down our way, themselves from the unwanted burden. Thoughtful I went, and he said, "Thou art thinking, perhaps, upon this ruin, which is guarded by that brute anger which just now I quenched. Now will I have thee know, the other time I here descended to the nether hell, this precipice had not yet fallen down. But truly, if I well discern, a little before his coming, who the mighty spoil bore off from Dis in the supernal circle, upon all sides the deep and loathsome valley trembled so, that I thought the universe was thrilled with love, by which there are who think the world oft times converted into chaos, and at that moment this primeval crag, both here and elsewhere, made such overthrow. But fix thine eyes below, for draweth near the river of blood, which boiling is whoever by violence injure others. Blind that spurs us onward so, and in the eternal that and now as motivated all playing encompasses conformable what the guidance, and between this now motivated sinful arrows as the world moves the chase of power.
This may be fun.
Beholding us descend, each one stood still, and the squadron three detached themselves, bows and arrows in advance selected, and from afar one cried, "Unto what torment come ye? Down the hillside are descending. Tell us from here. If not, I draw the bow." Answer will we make cheer up. There,
this may be fun.
Evil hour, the will of thine was nevermore so hastened. Then touched me. This one is necessary to perish for the lovely Dejanira, and for himself
Where's your motivation?
And in the midst, at his breast is gazing, is the great Chiron, brother that other Pholus is, who was so wrathful. Thousands and thousands go about the moment, shooting with shafts whatever soul emerges out of the blood, more than his crime allots. Here we approached unto those monsters. Chiron an arrow took, and with the notch backward upon his jaws, he put his beard. And after he had uncovered his great mouth, he said to his companions, "Are you aware that he behind moveth whatever he touches? Thus are not wont to do the feet of dead men." And my good guide, who now was at his breast, where the two monsters are together joined, replied, "Indeed, he lives, and thus alone me it behooves to show him the dark valley. Necessity and not delight impels us. Someone withdrew from singing hallelujah, who unto me committed this new office. No thief is he, nor I a thievish spirit, but by that virtue through which I am moving my steps along this savage thoroughfare, give us some one of thine to and who may show us where to pass the ford, and who may carry this one on his back, for 'tis no spirit that can walk the air. Upon his right breast Chiron wheeled about, and said to Nessus, Turn, and do thou guide them, and warn aside if other band may meet you. We with our faithful escort onward moved along the brink of the vermilion boiling, wherein the boiled were uttering loud laments. People I saw within up to the eyebrows, and the great centaur said, Tyrants are these, who dealt in bloodshed and in pillaging. Here they lament their pitiless mischiefs. Here is Alexander, and fierce Nissus, upon Sicily, Dolus. That forehead there, which has the hair so black as it, and the other is blonde, Oviso is of Esther. Truth up in the world was like a stepson slain. Then turned I to the poet, and said, Now, meet me first to thee, and second I. A little farther on, the centaur stopped above a folk. Far down as the throat seemed from that boiling stream to issue forth. A shade he showed us on one side alone. He cleft asunder in God's bosom the heart that still upon the canvas is. Saw I their heads, also all their chests, and many others. Thus everyone was scalped, so that the feet alone there across the passage, even as thou the boiling stream that I diminishes, the Centaur said. I wish thee to believe that on this other side more and more declines its bed until it reunites itself, where it behooveth tyranny to groan. Justice divine upon this side is goading that Attila was a scourge on earth, and Pyrrhus and Sextus, and forever milks the tears, which with the boiling it unseals in Rinier da Corneto and Rinier Pazzo, who made upon the highways so much war. Then back he turned, and passed again the ford. Inferno, 13. Not yet had Nessus reached the other side, when we had put ourselves within the not boiling stream, but dusty, not branches smooth, but gnarled, intertangled. Not apple trees were there, but thorns. Such tangled thickets have not, so dense, those savage wild beasts that in hatred hold twixt Senina and Corneto, the tilled places. There do the hideous harpies make their nests, who chase the Trojans from the Strophides, with sad announcement of impending doom. Broad wings have they, and necks and faces human, and feet with claws. And their great bellies fledged, they make laments upon the wondrous trees. And the good master, ere thou enter farther, know that thou art within the second round. Thus he began to say, and shalt be, till thou comest upon the world's sand. Therefore look well around. Thou shalt see things that will please me. All the stars person none. Still, I wouldst thou rend me? Hast thou no spirit, pity whatsoever? Men once we were, changed, breathed. Indeed, thy hand should be even the souls of serpents we had been. Out the green red so from that splinter whereat like a man and he wounded soul, but only in my persons he has seen. Not upon thee had he stretched forth his hand, whereas the thing incredible has caused me to put him to an act of worship. But tell him thou wast, so that by way of some event thy fame should be refreshed. And Trump said, so thy spirit's over. I cannot say you best not that I did discourse I am one both keys had in keeping of Frederick's heart, and turned them to and fro so softly in unlocking and unlocking, that from his secrets most men I withheld. Fidelity I bore, the glorious office so great, I lost thereby my sleep pulses. The courtesan who never from the dwelling of Caesar turned aside her strumpet eyes, death universal, and the vice of courts, and claimed against all the other minds, and they claimed, did so claim the justice, and my glad honors turned. My spirit, a stainful exultation, thinking by dying sleep, stained, just against myself, just. I was unwanted. This would do swear to you that never broke I faith unto my Lord, who was so worthy of honor, and to the world, if one of you return, let him my memory comfort, which is lying still prostrate from the blow that envy dealt it. Waited a while, and then, since he is silent, the poet said to me, lose not the time, but speak and question him, if more may please thee. Whence I to him, do thou again inquire concerning what thou thinkst will satisfy me, for I cannot, such pity is in my heart. Therefore he recommenced, so may the man do for thee freely what thy speech implores. Spirit incarnate, again be pleased to tell us in what way the soul is bound within these knots, and tell us, if thou canst, if any from such members ever was freed. Then blew the trunk amain, and afterward the wind was into such a voice converted. With brevity shall be replied to you, when the exasperated soul abandons the body whence it rent itself away. Minos consigns it to the seventh abyss. It falls into the forest, and no part is chosen for it, but where fortune hurls it, there, like a grain of spelt, it germinates. It springs a sapling and a forest tree. The harpies, feeding then upon its leaves, do pain create, and for the pain, an outlet. Like others, for our spoils shall we return, but not that anyone may them revest, for 'tis not just to have what one casts off. Here we shall drag them, and along the dismal forest our bodies shall suspended be, each to the thorn of his molested shade. We were attentive still unto the trunk, thinking that more it yet might wish to tell us, when by a tumult we were overtaken, in the same way as he is who perceives the boar and chase approaching to his stand, who hears the crashing of the beasts and branches. And two, behold, upon our left-hand side, naked and scratched, fleeing so furiously that of the forest every fan they broke. He who was in advance, "Now, help! Death! Help!" The other one, who seemed to lag too much, was shouting, "Lana, we're not so alert with those legs of thine as Johnson and Loco." And then, because he was breath, he grouped himself together. Behind them was a forest full of black and masses, ravenous, and swiftly put in raiment, on him who had crouched down, and him they lacerated. Thereafter bore away. Thereafter, escorted by the hand, led to the bush, and all in vain was retreating from its bloody Oh, said the saint afraid. What trouble did he make the street? What blame have I? Carry his life. When near him and the master stands, he said, "Wast thou, that so many are flowers of love souls that hither come to look upon the shameful massacre that has so rent away from me my leaves. Gather them up beneath the dismal bush. I of that city was which to the Baptist changed first patron. Wherefore he for this forever with his art will make me sad. And were it not that on the pass of Arno some glimpses of him are remaining still, those citizens afterwards were wilted on the ashes of Attila, in vain and caused their labor to be done. My own thoughts, myself. Inferno, Canto 14. Because the charity of my makes me strength, gathered I the scattered leaves, then back was forced. Then came we to Canto, this part of the second justice. Clearly, to manifest these novel things, I say that we arrived upon a plain, which from its bed rejecteth every plant. The dolorous forest is a garland to it, all round about, as the sad moat to that. There close upon the edge we stayed our feet. The soil was of an arid and thick sand, not of another fashion made than that which by the feet of Cato once was pressed. Vengeance of God, oh how much oughtest thou by each one to be dreaded, judge me that which was manifest. All over them see set a law first. Supine upon the ground, some were lying, and some were sitting all drawn up together, and others went about continually. Those who were going round were far the more, and those were less who lay down and went. but at their tongues they were all the same. As Alexander whence he provided his phalanxes to trample down the sword, made him better thus was descending whereby the sand was set without was the come on. Now, come on. Such as I was living am I dead. If Jove should weary out his smith, and seize the anchor, the sharp thunderbolt, wherewith upon the last day I will sleep, and if he wearied out by turn the others, or the failing, help, good Vulcan, help. Even as he did there at the fight of Phlegra, and shot his bolts at me with all his might, he would not have thereby a joyous vengeance. Then did my leader speak with such great force that I had never heard him speak so loud. O Capaneus, in that is not extinguished thine arrogance. Thou punished art the more. Not any torment, saving thine own rage, would be unto thy fury pain complete. Turn round. The 7 kings was he, Thebes besieged, and hell and seized the whole god, Spain, and little seized to prize him. But his own despites are for his breast the fittest ones. Follow me, mind thou do not place yet thy feet upon the burning sand, but always keep close. Speaking low, came to where the gushes whose redness makes my hair still stand on end. As from the Bullacame springs the brooklet, the sinful women later share among them, so downward through the sand. The bottom of it snow in the margin of the side, whence I perceive them there the castle. In all the rest, nothing has been discovered by thine so noble present all the little flames but quenches.
How's this?
Since I prayed that he would of our guests in the midst of the six months. There is a mountain that once was glad with waters and which was called Ice. Deserted as a thing warm.
How's this?
Rhea once chose it for the great perfect son. And you can sing a bit better whenever you try. She there had her lemons. A friend stands in the mouth forever. Holds the shoulders turned down at them. Said Rome, come on. His head is fat and fine. Silver are his arms and breast. Then breast. From that point down, all children say that right foot and more he stands each part is by a vision such clever. Come on, repeat here. Stand together perfectly. From rock to rock, they fall this valley. And they're on sticks. Forget it. Down. Go along standing, thou hast turned. Still, left descend to the bottom. Thou hast not yet all the circle turned. For somehow you would realize it should not be amazed by Master, where shall we find? Come on, for of one thou art in all truly thou dost. But the boiling of the red sound thou shalt see sin, repent. Then said he, this time and take heed that thou come out. Way margins that are not word, and over them all are stickers. Turn, time to come up, get ready. Now bears us on the so fire even as the Flemings fearing the blood and as the casualty friends regard the pillars in such whoever down encountered, who came beside the dike, and everyone gazed on us, as at evening were wont to eye each other under a new moon. And so towards us sharpened they their brows, as an old tailor at the needle's eye. Thus scrutinized by such a family, by someone I was recognized, who seized my garment's hem and cried out, "What a marvel!" And I, stretched on his vacant aspect, fastened so my eyes, that the scorched countenance prevented not his recognition. And bowing I made reply, "You hear, Ser Brunetto?" And he, "May it not displease thee, O my son."
Welcome
In a
back.
brief space, with thee, Brunetto Latini, backward return and let the trail go on. I said to him, "With all my power I ask you, and if you wish me to sit down with you, I will, if he please, for I go with him." "Oh, son," he said, "whoever of this herd a moment stops, lies then 100 years, nor fans himself when smiteth him the fire. Therefore go on. I at thy skirts will come, and afterward will I rejoin my band, which goes lamenting its eternal doom." I did not dare go down from the road level to walk with him, but my head bowed I held as one who goeth reverently, and he began, "What fortune, fate, before the last day, leadeth thee down here, and who is this that showeth thee the way?" "Up there, above us, in the light serene, I lost thee in a valley, for ever yet my age has been completed. But yesterday I turned back. This one appeared to me, returning thither, and homeward leadeth me along this road. If thou thy star do follow, thou canst not fail thee of a glorious port, if well I judged in the life beautiful. And if I had not died so prematurely, seeing heaven thus benignant unto thee, I would have given thee comfort in the work. But that ungrateful and malignant people, which of old time from the Soleil descended, and smacks still of the mountain and the granite, will make itself for thy good deeds thy foe. And it is right, for among crabbed sorbs it ill befits the sweet fig to bear fruit. Old rumor in the world proclaims them blind, a people avaricious, envious, and proud. Take heed that of their customs thou do cleanse thee. Thy fortune so much honor doth reserve thee, one party and the other shall be hungry for thee, but far from goat shall be the grass. Their litter let the beasts of Vesoli make of themselves, nor let them touch the plant, if any still upon their dunghill rise, in which may yet revive the consecrated seed of those Romans who remain there when the nest of such wicked for in my mind is fixed, and touches now my heart, the dear and good paternal image, when in the world from birth taught me how a man becomes eternal, and how much I am grateful while I live behooves that I will be concerned. What you narrate of my career, right, and keep it gloss with context. Finally, you can do it arbitrarily. This much will I have manifest, provided that my conscience do not chide me, for whatsoever fortune I am ready. Such handsel is not new unto mine ears, therefore let fortune turn around, as it may please her, and curl his my master there is right in backward turns and said, "He listened." Speaking less on that account, know of some as well. Others were thought of for short, know them some, almost works, letters, grave, paint, and the world painted, themselves Christians rode yonder, proud, in Francis, thou hast seen thou hast has left sin nor would I say, coming towards him. That I feel smoke uprising yonder. Come on. Commended unto me my discipline, which I still never. Then turned round. Seemed to be like those who at Verona run for the green mantle across the plain, and seem to be among them the one who wins, and not the one who loses. End of Canto 11 through Canto 15 of the Divine Comedy. Read by Dennis Sayers in Modesto, California for LibriVox. Fall 2006.
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Jennifer Crispin, Jefferson City, Missouri. The Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri. Translated by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Inferno, Canto 16 to 20. Inferno, Canto 16. Now was I where was heard the reverberation of water falling into the next round, like to that humming which the beehives make, when shadows three together started forth, running from out a company that passed, beneath the rain of the sharp martyrdom. Towards us came they, and each one cried out, Stop thou, for by thy garb to us thou seemest to be some one of our depraved city. Ah me, what wounds I saw upon their limbs, recent and ancient by the flames burned in, which makes me say that he was dead. And to their cries my teacher caused dissension. He turned his face towards me, Now wait, he said, to these we should be courteous. And if it were not for the fire that darks the nature of this region, I should say that haste were more becoming to thee than them. As soon as we stood still, they recommenced the old refrain, and when they overtook us, formed of themselves a wheel, all three of them. As champions swift and will they want to do, watching for their advantage and their hold, before they come to blows thrusts between them. Thus wheeling round where everyone has decided to let them meet, so that in opposite lines his neck and feet continually going. And it's the misery of this soft place, bringing his day and ourselves and our duties, began now, and our aspects glassy and glistening. Let the renown of us thy mind and mind, and tell us who thou art, and thus securely thy living feet dost who belong to the cloud. He in whose footprints thou dost see headed, naked and skinless as he now may bear, is of a greater rank than thou dost think. He was the grandson of the great Quadrada. His name was Vidadea, and in like much degree with his wisdom and his sword. The other, who close by me treads the sand, Tegaio Aldobrandi is, whose fame above there in the world should welcome be. And I, who with them on the cross am placed, Jacopo Rusticucci was, and truly, my savage wife more than aught else doth harm me. Could I have been protected from the fire? Below I should have thrown myself among them and think that the teacher would have suffered it. But as I should have burned and baked myself, my terror overmastered my good will, which made me greedy of embracing them. and I began sorrow and not disdain the golden dish and fixed within me so, that totally wholly was stripped off. As soon as this my lord said unto me, words on account of which I thought within me, that people such as you are were approaching. I of your city am, and evermore your labors and your honorable names I with affection have retraced and heard. I leave the gall and go for the sweet fruits promised to me by the voracious leader, but to the center first I needs must plunge. So may the soul for a long while conduct those limbs of thine, did we make answer them, and so may thy renown shine after thee. Valor and courtesy say if they dwell within the city as they used to do, or if they wholly have gone out. But who young of Borsia, who is in torment with us of late, and goes there with his comrades, doth greatly mortify us with his words. The new inhabitants and the sudden gains, pride and extravagance having thee engendered, Florence, see that thou weepst thereat already. In this wise I exclaimed with face uplifted, and the three, taking that another cried, looked at each other, as one looks at me. If other times so little it doth cost thee to cry thereat to satisfy another, happy art thou, thus speaking of thy will. Therefore if thou escape from these dark places, and come to thee behold the beauteous stars, when it shall pleasure thee to say, I was. See that thou speak of us unto the people. Then they broke up the wheel, and in their flight it seemed as if their agile legs were wings. Not in their name could possibly be said, so rapidly it they moved. Therefore the master being just to the house. I followed them, and little had we gone before the sound of water was so near us that speaking was hardly as they heard. Even as that stream was holding its own course, the first when monthly was so clear, upon the one man's head of the afternoon, which is above called Acapulco, where it down descended behind its low bed, with its quarters facing the sea. Reverberate where thou sound of a redwood, perhaps by falling a single leaf, or for 1,000 of the wind. Downward from the the sound resounded from bottom to the bottom, so that it soon the ears would have offended. I had a cord around me, and therewithal I will learn to take the time of the community. After I had at all the real gifts, who had the method of commanding, gathered our thereat we found ourselves on the right side, and at a little distance from the bird, which must need to be some novelty and fun, he said within himself, to the new signal, the master with his eyes following so. Ah me, how very cautious men should be with those who not alone behold the act, but with their wisdom look into the thoughts. He said to me, soon there will upward come what I wait, and what thy thought is dreaming must soon reveal itself unto thy sight. Ay, to that truth which has the face of falsehood, a man should close his lips as far as may be, because without his fault it causes shame. But here I cannot, and reader, by the notes of this my comedy to thee I swear, so may they not be void of lasting favor. Athwart that dense and darksome atmosphere, I saw a figure swimming upward come, marvelous unto every steadfast heart. Even as he returns who goeth down, sometimes to clear an anchor, which has grappled reef, or aught else that in the sea is hidden, who upward stretches and draws in his feet. End of Canto 16. Inferno, Canto 17. Behold the monster with the pointed tail, who cleaves the hills and breaketh walls and weapons. Behold him who infecteth all the world. Thus unto me my guide began to say, and beckoned him that he should come to shore, near to the confine of the trodden marble. And that uncleanly image of deceit came up and thrust ashore its head and bust, but on the border did not drag its tail. The face was as the face of a just man, its semblance outwardly was so benign, and of a serpent all the trunk beside. 2 paws it had, hairy under the armpits, the back and breast and both the sides it had depicted all with nooses and with shields. With colors more, groundwork embroidery, never in cloth did Tartars make, nor Turks, nor were such tissues by Arachne laid. As sometimes wherries lie upon the shore, that part are in the water, part on land, and as among the guzzling journeys, the beaver plants himself to wage his war, so that vile monster lay upon the border, the heap of stone, and shuddered in the sun, was dead and was quivering in the world, contorting his but in the guise of scorpions. Bridesmaid, now perforce must turn aside our way a little, even to that beast, the level at yonder couches. We therefore on the right side descended, and made 10 steps upon the outer verge, completely to avoid the sand and flame. And after we had come to them, I see a little farther off upon the sand, a people, sitting near the hollow place. Then said to me the master, till that full experience of the ground thou bear away, now go and see what their condition is. There let thy conversation be concise, till thou returnest thy speech within, that he can see to us his stalwart shoulders. Thus farther still upon the outermost head of that southern circle all alone, I went, where sat the melancholy folk. Out of their eyes was gushing forth their woe. This way, that way, they helped them with their hands, now from the flames and now from the hot soil. Not otherwise in summer with the dogs, now with the foot, now with the muzzle, and by fleas and flies and gadflies they are bitten. When I had turned mine eyes upon the faces of some, on whom the dolorous fire is falling, not one of them I knew, but I perceived that from the neck of each there hung a pouch, which certain colour had, and certain blazon, and thereupon it seems their eyes are feeding. And as I gazing round me come among them, upon a yellow pouch I azure saw, that had the face and posture of a lion. Proceeding then the current of my sight, another of them saw I, red as blood, display a goose more white than butter is. And one, who with an azure sow and gravid and blazoned had his little pouch of white, said unto me, What dost thou in this way? Now get thee gone, and since thou art still alive, know that a neighbour of mine, Italiano, will have a seat here on my left-hand side. A Paduan am I with these Florentines. Full many a time they thunder in mine ears, exclaiming, Come the sovereign cavalier! He who shall bring the satchel with 3 goats. Then twisted he his mouth, and forth he thrust his tongue, like to an ox that licks its nose. And fearing lest my longer statement vexed him who had warned me not to tarry long, backward I turned from those weary souls. I found my guide, who had already mounted upon the back of that wild animal, and said to me, Now be both strong and bold. Now we descend by stairways such as these. Mount thou in front, for I will be midway, so that the tail may have no power to harm thee. Such as he is who has so near the age of fortune his nails and wheel, not at all but looking at the shade. Even stretches from the eye with the cloth of wings, which shame in me his manifestation, and that servants stand before good master, and see this I wish to say, and make a voice from the mouth of I believe, that Jesus by embracing. But he, other men, had rested me other terrors, as soon as I had mounted, within his arms, and said, Now carry on, stir myself, the circle's large, and the sun little, even as the little vessel tries to secure, backward, still backward, and when he finished by the there were his breast again, and that it sounded like a heel he moved, with his paws moving himself. A greater joy cannot be there was, that time advanced although the heavens, as still appeared, were scorched. Nor was the wretched Icarus his flanks but stripped and feathered by the melting wax, his father crying, An ill way thou takest! But was my own, and I perceived myself on all sides in the air, and saw extinguished the sight of everything but of the monster. Onward he goeth, swimming slowly, slowly, wheels and descends, but I perceive it only by wind upon my face and from below. I heard already on the right the whirlpool, making a horrible crashing under us, whence I thrust out my head with eyes cast downward. Then was I still more fearful of the abyss. As eye fires beheld and heard laments, whereat I trembling all the closer cling. I saw then, for before I had not seen it, the turning and descending by great horrors that were approaching upon diverse sides. As falcon may flying in on the wing, who without seeing either boy nor bird, maketh the falcon say, Come, me, thou speakest. It descendeth weary, whence it starts to again, through 100 circles, and the lights far from the castle, so in it is even thus the daring places on the bottom, close to the bases of the rusting rocks, and being disencumbered of our persons, its very way. There is a place in the full of skins, as he was circling around his face. Bright as the ray of the full moon, its place in Grand that was like a and the well and foot of the high hard bank, it has distinct valleys and mountain spots. As were the protection of the walls, many mountains around the castle, the part of which there are big and just as the limits rose to 7 hill, and as about such strongly from the wind, to prevent the hills. So from the precipice of those that crags and depths, intersected dikes and hills, unto the well that conquered and collected. The women's place down to the vast area, we found it, and the poet held to the action behind it. Upon my right hand we had Milan, and new dwellers of the land. There was the corner of elbow with the sea. Down at the bottom of the sea, this side the middle point of Lucy. Yonder, with us, but with greater steps. Even as the Romans, for the mighty host, the year of Jubilee upon the bridge, have chosen a road to pass the people over. For all upon one side towards the castle, their faces have and go unto St. Peter's. On the other side they go towards the mountain. This side and that, along the livid stone, beheld I horned demons with great scourges, who cruelly were beating them behind. Ah me, how they did make them lift their legs at the first blows, and sooth not any one the second waited for, nor for the third. While I was going on, mine eyes by one encountered were, and straight I said, already with sight of this one I am not unfed. Therefore I stayed my feet to make him out, and with me the sweet guide came to a stand, and to my going somewhat back assented. And he, the scourged one, thought to hide himself, lowering his face, but little it availed him. For said I, thou that castest down thine eyes, if false are not the features which thou bearest, thou art Venedico Cachinimico, but what doth bring thee to such pungent sauces? And he to me, unwillingly I tell it, but forces me thine utterance distinct, which makes me recollect the ancient word. I was the one who the fair Isola induced to grant the wishes of the nation, however she may restore her. Not the soul always to do it, not the nay, rather is so full of them, that not so many times to day are taught. And whereof thou wishest blessing and grace, into thy mind of avaricious heart, while speaking of this man, this school is not slick. Let be gone, for there are no games here. I joined myself again into the escort. Thereafter, makes the door tread, and let the things back. This very easily would be a sense. Turning to the right, there was swallowed out. The guide said, "Wait, see what I can strike the vision of this other hands. I come back to because of the less than the wrong. From the old bridge we looked on, the scourges came upon the other border, which is scourges in that and the good man see that tall one who is coming, and for his pains seems not to shed a tear? Still, what a royal aspect he wears! That Jason is, who by his heart and cunning the Colchians of the Ram made destitute. He by the Isle of Lemnos passed along after the daring women pitiless had unto death devoted all their males. There with his tokens and with ornate words did he deceive Hypsipyle, the maiden who first herself had all the rest deceived. There did he leave her pregnant and forlorn. Such sin unto such punishment condemns him, and also for Medea is vengeance done. With him go those who in such wise deceive, and this sufficient be of the first valley, to know, and those that in his jaws its hold. We were already where the narrow path crosses athwart the second dike, and forms that of a buttress for another arch. Thence we heard people, who are making moan in the next bolgia, snorting with their muzzles, and with their palms beating upon themselves. The margins were encrusted with a mold, by exhalations from below that sticks there, and with the eyes and nostrils wages war. The bottom is so deep that no place suffices to give a sight of it, without ascending the arches back where most the crag impends. Thither we came, and thence down in the moat, I saw people smothered in the cliff that out of human privy seemed to flow. And whilst below there in mine eye I searched, I saw one that was so foul with ordeal, it was not clear if he were quick or late. He screamed, "Wherefore art thou so eager to look at me more than the other foul ones?" And I said, because, I remember, I have already seen thee with John, and thou art elected to me and therefore I thee more than all the others, and he, thereon, delivering his kingdom. The flatteries have submerged me here below, wherewith my tongue is never certain. Then said he to the guide, see that thou thrust thy visage somewhere farther in advance, that with thine eyes thou bear the face of pain, and that of the cleanly dishevelled lad, who there thou stretch yourself in closely nails, and crouches now on foot is strange. That's the harlot, was it, who replied unto her paramour when he said, have I great gratitude from thee? Nay, marvellous. And herewith let our sight be satisfied. End of Canto 18. Inferno, Canto 19. O Simon Magus, O forlorn disciples, ye who the things of God which ought to be the brides of holiness rapaciously, for silver and for gold do prostitute, now it behooves for you the trumpet sound, because in this third Bolge ye abide. We had already on the following tomb ascended to that portion of the crag which o'er the middle of the moat hangs plumb. Wisdom supreme, O how great art thou showest in heaven, in earth, and in the evil world, and with what justice doth thy power distribute. I saw upon the sides and on the bottom the livid stone with perforations filled, all of one size, and every one was round. To me less ample seemed they not, nor greater than those that in the beautiful St. John are fashioned for the place of the baptizers, and one of which, not many years ago, I wrote for someone who was drowning. Through this a seal all men transceive. Out of the mouth of each one they protruded the feet of the transgressor, and the leg up to the calf, the rest within reach. In all of them the souls were both on fire, wherefore they burnt so violently toward they would have snapped asunder with themselves. Even as the flame from two wings is wont to live upon the soul of his mother, so likewise was it here to say, Master, who is that one who died for thee? More than as other people have given, he said, and whom a redder flame. And he knew, thou wilt have me bear thee down there along the bank of Willis lies, from whence thou hear his word, tell. And I, what pleases thee to me is patient, and thou art my Lord, and knowest that I desire much to thy desire, and knowest that I am straight word, just get your eyes. Return on the left hand side of Sunday, and the good master deposed me not, till to the hole he brought me, of him who so lamented with his shanks. Whoe'er thou art that standeth upside down, O doleful soul, implanted like a stake, to save even I, if thou canst, speak out. I stood even as the crier who is confessing the false assassin who, when he is fixed, recalls him so that death may be delayed. And he cried out, Dost thou stand there already? Dost thou stand there already, Boniface? By many years the record lied to me. Art thou so early satiate with that wealth, for which thou didst not fear to take by fraud the beautiful lady and then work her woe? Such I became, as people are who stand not as if Satan, still I am not he thou thinkest. And I replied as was imposed on me. Whereat the spirit writhed with both his feet, then sighing with a voice of lamentation, said to me, Then what wantest thou of me? If who I am thou carest so much to know, that thou on that account hast crossed the bank, know that I vested was with the great mantle, and truly was I son of the she-bear, so eager to advance the cubs, that wealth above and here myself I pocketed. Beneath my head the others are dragged down, who have preceded me in simony, flattened along the fissure of the rock. Below there I shall likewise fall, whenever that one shall come who I believed thou wast, what time the sudden question I proposed. But longer I my feet already toast, and here have been in this way upside down, than he will planted stay with reddened feet. For after him shall be no without hope, towards the west a pastor without law, such as befits to cover him and me. New Jason will he be, of whom we read in Maccabees, and as his king was pliant, so he who governs France shall be to this one. I do not know if I will hear too well, but him I answer only in this meeting. I pray thee, tell me now how great is treasure on your Nor Peter nor the rest asked of Matthias silver or gold, if I want to chase him into the place the guilty soul had lost. Therefore stay here, for thou art justly punished. Keep safeguards on the old opportunity which caused me to be violent in my trials. And were it not that scarce you did with me the reverence for the peace of Holyday, that has the peace of God's life, I would make use of great and grievous skill, because your avarice afflicts the Lord, trampling the good and lifting the depraved. The evangelist of the pastor had an eye, and the city counted water to fornicate the king's commandments. The same who gave 700 bread and power and strength to 10,000 seeds, so long as richness and wealth is pleasing. You have made yourself a god of gold and silver, and from the idolater have put you, save that he won and 800 worship. Ah, Constantine, of how much ill was mother, not thy conversion, but that marriage dower which the first wealthy father took from thee. And while I sang to him such notes as these, either that anger or that conscience stung him, he struggled violently with both his feet. I think in sooth that it my reader pleased, with such contented lips he listened ever unto the sound of true words expressed. Therefore with both his arms he took me up,